All right, boys, class is in session. We're back for another edition of the Coach's Corner. I am Dan, the Professor Kaiser. And as always, you can find me at covers.com. You can find me in the Discord chat room at the Insiders Room and on their Twitch and YouTube channels. You can also find me at picksandparlays.com. And I also do stuff on their YouTube and other media channels for Picks and Parlays. Today is a special triple header of shows. We're going to start out tonight with, as always, with the Motor City Madman himself, Rick Markel. He's going to get us the landscape of Detroit sports and a betting situation in Michigan at this time. Around 7:30, we'll go back with Right Kate from last week as he returns to talk Philly sports, and hopefully give out some Super Bowl props after killing it last week. Giving us 6 winning props on player props on the show last week. And around 8 o'clock, we have a special guest from the Insiders Room. Greg the Greek will come on. He'll talk about things happening in the Big Apple and to give us a quick guide on live wagering, as he is the live wagering expert at the Insiders Room. So without further ado, let's bring on my tag team partner, Mr. Rick Markel. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Professor? Are you keeping it hot?
I'm trying.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I would have been partying on this show if Louisville would have covered last night, but can't win them all, as they say.
No, you try, and that's where they kill you. You think you're going to win, and then just at the last second, some guy misses a free throw, and you end up losing.
Yeah.
The dice are definitely stacked against you.
Yeah. Well, now that sports betting is live now in Michigan, I think we have like 9 books open in Michigan at this time, and like 3 or 4 more in the pipeline from what I've read. Have you looked into those, and which ones do you like or don't like? Or
I have BetMGM, and I've also looked at DraftKings, William Hill. Those are some of the ones that I like. I think William Hill is probably my main one, and I've heard good things. I have looked at it, but I didn't have an account with PointsBet, but I've heard good things on that. There's so many options, though, and somebody brought up a good point. In Michigan right now, I think there are 9 books that you can go through with about an additional 3 or 4 coming in. But one guy said, why not sign up for all of them? It doesn't matter. They all have promos, or you can put in $10 or $12, or $100 in every one. But that way, what does it accomplish for you? It lets you to go line shopping, so you always get a good line. And really, that's been the biggest difference. Is before we only had 1 or 2 outs. Now I can have 6 or 7, and it truly does make a deal. A difference. So if one line's 7 and you can get it 6.5 somewhere else, that saves you a lot of money over the course of time, and that's why you want to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree totally, especially since you can sign up without any money, and you do get some promos. So if you do it right, you can play. You can play for a month or 2 on their money.
Exactly. And I mean, it never hurts to have an out. I mean, it never hurts to have an extra out.
So. And they offer these crazy power boosts or whatever. Like tonight, I know you don't win a lot. You only win like $50, but like tonight, you could get the Pistons plus 143 points the last time I checked against the Lakers. So, it's just a little extra money to play. All it is the hook to get you in. But
of course, but you got to be kind of stupid not to play it. I mean, if they're going to give it to you that way, then go ahead. I got something similar like that. I got 25 to win like 50 on if they score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, hey, to me, that's $50 free, so I'll take it. I mean,
exactly. I think I got the same thing tonight. One of those like that tonight on the next Red Wings game. I got like the Red Wings plus 11, and as bad as they are, I don't think they can lose that one.
Oh, not 11. No, they're not going to score only a couple of goals. But they had a bad week, to be honest. I was kind of disappointed. I can't believe they went into Chicago and lost twice. That kind of sucked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and just for people out there, if they're not familiar, I know Bet Rivers has one. I'm not affiliated with Bet Rivers. I get nothing for this, but just to throw this out there, they have a deal on the Super Bowl. If you deposit $100 with them, they'll give you $100 free play. And then if you bet that $100 cash on a game, then for like the next 4 weeks, they'll give you another $100 free play. So you're making like $500 in free bets for $100 bet, and if you bet on the winning team, well, it's all free. It's all gravy.
Yeah, good
All right,
deal. Then maybe you take one of those $50 winners or $100 winners and you bet a 3-team parlay, and next thing you know, if you hit that, you're off to the races, right?
exactly. That's my thinking. That's why I always get in trouble.
There you go. You play a parlay that you never play, or a 5-team money line parlay or something ridiculous, and try to make it grow like rabbits.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know me well.
Oh,
All right.
exactly. Hey, believe me, I got nothing to do in the afternoon but look at the lines and concentrate on the games, right?
Yep, yep. Well, all right. Let's do some quick, little bit of Lion stuff here. You know, I can't say much about the Lions until I know what they get for Stafford. But you know, to yesterday I heard some encouraging news that I didn't know, but then I heard some news today that doesn't make me all that encouraged. Yesterday I heard that I didn't know that they had hired John Dorsey to help out the GM. You
Yeah.
know, he doesn't work well with others, but he has a good record of drafting, especially drafting quarterbacks. So, I thought that was an upside. And then I heard something today from a writer, I think a writer out of Detroit or from the Athletic or something, that said that the GM had no say in hiring of the coach, and he's got a 5-year contract, and the coach has got a 6-year contract.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard. And the thing was, Sheila Hemp said that they liked them both when they interviewed them, so they decided to hire them both pretty much at the same time. And as you know, they had the general manager about a day before. Now, they said, quote unquote, they asked him what he thought of the incoming coach. But, I mean, the structure in that, I just don't understand it. Does that mean that the GM's hands were tied? As far as Dorsey, I like that move a lot. Dorsey was one of the guys on my short list that I wanted in the first place. He's a guy that assembled a lot of the talent for this Kansas City Chiefs team. He drafted Mahomes, and he did a good job when he was at Cleveland, too.
Yep.
But he's like an independent guy. Again, now you've got 6 chefs and 1 meal to cook. I mean, you need cooks. They got a bunch of chefs, but they got no cooks. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I liked a couple of their assistant coaches hirings also, but we'll see. I guess it all depends on what happens with Stafford and what they do at quarterback. So
Yeah. Well, they said Holmes was going to be aggressive, and he pretty much it took him a week to make a decision on Stafford. And I just think that the team's not going to go anywhere in the next couple of years with Stafford. They're not ready to win, so it doesn't matter. Now, I heard a rumor that said San Francisco was willing to trade their first round pick for Stafford. I would take that in a minute. You've got Holmes, who's supposed to be a great scouting director, college scouting. Now you get 2 first-round draft picks. I think that's a home run. I mean, these are pieces that we could get to turn the franchise around in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's move on. The Spartans returned to action today, and they've been on the shelf for a few weeks because of COVID things, and they were playing bad before the break, and I'm not sure how this break's helped them. They haven't started practicing until Monday, and unless Izzo figured out a way to turn Rocket Watson into a point guard, I mean,
Yeah.
and then now the game against Michigan gets canceled, and
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. I'm not sure
Well,
what
wait.
to do with these teams, to be honest, coming off the long COVID. If you looked at St. Louis the other night, they were 10-point favorites, and they didn't show up for the first half, basically, and they ended up losing the game. And here was a team that was undefeated and playing their best basketball that St. Louis University has played in 10 years, and then they come off the COVID and they look like crap their first time out. So I took Rutgers in the first half tonight, just figuring that maybe Michigan State's a little bit rusty. I think the under is also a good way to go because Michigan State does have problems scoring, or at least that has been their mojo. And you're so right about a point guard. They need a point guard that can distribute the basketball, and that's what they lack right now. Did you do anything on that game?
I took Rutgers minus the 2.5.
Okay.
But I got
that was interesting. I think you had Michigan State the first time, which turned out to be a good bet.
and I took them. I had my choice, but I took them on an odds boost because I just like they only put up 55 against I like the under also, but they only put up 55 against Purdue, and now they've had 2 or 3 weeks off, no practice. I don't know. I
Yeah, I'd like to see them how they shoot from the floor because that's always been an issue with Michigan State. Now they haven't had any game action in 2 weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? I could see them scoring maybe 25, 30 points in the first half, and that's it. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me tonight, but we'll see.
yeah, and I think they're saying like Langford, they don't know if he'll be able to play, and he's one of the only guys that seems to be able to shoot from the outside.
Right, right.
So, all right, what do you think tonight? You got the Red Wings going against Dallas. Any thoughts on that game?
Well, I was all set to play the under. I was looking at 5.5, and I didn't bet it at 5.5, and then it went down to 5. So I was like, "There's no way I can. I just can't bet it under at 5. That's too little." What I did do though is I took Dallas in regulation.
Okay.
I got them at even money actually, plus $1, but they got to win in regulation. So I think that's a safe way to go. Detroit right now, the problem with Detroit is they've got 4 guys on COVID, and it's basically their second line center, and they're losing a lot of offensive production with these guys that are on COVID. The Red Wings, like any team that's trying to rebuild, they don't have a lot of depth. So when you take 3 or 4 players out of their lineup, that's just that's magnified even more. It's not like Washington, who can still lose Ovechkin but still win games. The Red Wings are up against it right now until they get those players back. They're a fade team. You got to fade them.
Right. So I agree with you. I mean, like you said, they lose their second line center, and they're not scoring anyway.
Right. Right,
So,
which is why the Wings to me are an automatic fade. I mean, an automatic under team, because they do have better defensemen this year than they did last year, and they got better goaltending. So they are giving up fewer goals, and they're not scoring anything. So anytime to me, I don't care who they're playing. If they're getting 6, you take the under. I mean, that's just an automatic. That's how I would have to look at every Red Wing game.
do you think we'll see a NHL game total get up to like 8 or 9 this year?
I don't think so, but who knows? It's certainly headed that way. I mean, it seems like, it takes a lot of guts to bet an under in an NHL hockey game.
Yeah, I think I got 4 of them tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You bet all overs, right? Or you bet unders?
I think I've got 4 unders in a parlay going tonight.
See, I'm a natural under player. To me, I look at it under first, and it's very rare that I bet overs. I hate that feeling, waiting for some bounce of the puck later on. It seems to me an under is a winner until it actually goes over, so you still got a chance. I mean, no, I don't blame you. I like playing unders too, but it just seems like there's so many penalties called in games nowadays. Back in the day when the Oilers were dominating and all that, they complained because the referees weren't calling anything. So every player had open ice and there was a lot of scoring. And so then they went completely 180 the opposite, and now they call everything. Well, if you're going to give me 10 minutes of penalties in each period, then how's the game not going to go over? I mean, special teams is the biggest factor in most NHL games.
Right. Well, Edmonton, though, because they had to change the rule, because Edmonton would always like if the other team took a minor penalty, Edmonton would always take one also, so they could skate 4-on-4.
Right.
Because they'd rather skate 4-on-4, and then the other team couldn't just fire the puck down the ice and clear it. So
well, yeah, they put Hall of Famers. They got 4 Hall of Famers on the ice. Of course they would. That's just more open ice. Although I'll tell you, I love this overtime. This 3-on-3 overtime is awesome. I never get tired of watching that. Anytime it comes on, I got to watch the 3-on-3. It's just, I mean, because puck possession is what it's all about. Teams will literally, if they don't have the numbers crossing the blue line, they'll pull it all the way back out and they'll just wait. And it's frustrating, but it's always interesting. You always get the wide open 2-on-1s, and I've seen 3-on-1s. There was a 3-on-0 the last week, and the guys didn't score. They put 2 shots on, and the goaltender finally held onto the puck. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. That is pretty exciting. All right, let's talk about this Super Bowl. the Chiefs looked good against the Bills last week. Again, just off the top right here, do you think the Tampa Bay can stop them?
No, I give the Chiefs a lot of credit. I wasn't sure about how effective Mahomes would be, only because of his ankle and his other health issues. But you know what? He answered every single question that I could possibly have. So I was very impressed with that. My early lean, the best play I can think of, I saw a statistic, and it seems like they bring it up every year, but about 65% of all teams that win the Super Bowl also cover the line. And what that means to me is that all you really have to do is pick the winner. I don't like either defense in the game, and I really don't like Kansas City's. So what I was thinking of doing is I'm going to play the money line with Kansas City, and that way I don't have to worry about a late backdoor score or anything like that. It is a little expensive, a little bit more than I normally like to play, but you can get it right now at minus 170, and I think that's the safest way to go. Taking Casey on the money line minus 170.
Yeah. I guess what kind of game are they going to call? If they're going to let Tampa Bay just grab and hold Kansas City's receivers all day and not call anything and slow them down, it'd be like go back to the Patriots against the Rams.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. Tampa Bay is well coached, and they know that they can get away with a lot. And yeah, if the referees call it that way, then of course they're going to keep it in the ball. They're going to keep in the ball game, because the one thing that Kansas City has more dynamics than any other team, if you ask me, is speed at the wide receiver. Yeah. There's nobody that can catch up to Tyreek Hill. So you're right. If the referees let them touch and grab and all that kind of stuff and don't call it, then yeah, that's a huge advantage for Tampa Bay. But if they don't, Tampa Bay's secondary is weak. Their secondary is worse, I think, than Kansas City's. So if they don't call that stuff and Tyreek Hill is allowed to walk all over the field, then it might not be a good game at all.
Right. And I know Tampa's two safeties are banged up, and I'm not, I don't know the health status right at this point. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I like Kansas City in this one. Yeah, I'm with you. The backdoor cover and just, and that's something that Tom Brady would do to me. So.
Oh, of course. And the other thing, I was worried because the line got up to 3.5. That half point, I hate to be on the wrong side of that half point, but then it came back down to 3. So if you can get it at 3 or less, I don't mind Kansas City straight. But I'd rather play the money line if it gets to 3.5 or more, just because that way you would take all that other backdoor stuff out of play.
Yeah, I got a couple of free bets at one of these books. I thought I'd take Kansas City minus 2.5 and Tampa Bay plus 3.5 and.
Oh, try to middle it. There you go.
See if Kansas City can win by 3.
then there you go. See if it comes down to a field goal. I don't really. I mean, I got to admit, right now, I really don't give Tampa Bay much of a chance of actually winning the game. Is that how you feel, or am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy. I guess my only thing, the loss of Fisher at the end of that game last week. I mean, they've been playing with a makeshift offensive line the last few weeks, Kansas City, and now if they're all without both their starting tackles, if it was any other quarterback but Mahomes, I would tend to worry that they'd be able to get some pressure on him, but it is Mahomes, and
I think he's almost better when he scrambles anyway. But I hear what you're saying. That's true. Banged up and all that. But you know what? My big handicap on Kansas City last week was I thought they weren't healthy. They had 3 guys that were questionable. They all ended up playing, but I didn't think they were going to be 100%. Not only did they play, they played well.
Yeah.
And they took command of that whole ball game. So what do we know, a week and a half before the game? Hopefully we get it right before kickoff and we make our best. We can figure out exactly what's going on.
That was okay. This is the last question I was going to ask you, because people have talked about this and it's come up. Do you bet if you like a team, like you like Kansas City, do you bet it now or do you wait? And because I've heard a lot of people say you bet it if you really like a team and you like that's the team you want, bet it now, because that way you won't get, because you're going to have 2 weeks of media coverage and you won't get talked out of it.
I think if you like Kansas City, you bet them now, because I think most people think that Kansas City is is the best team in the league. They bet them that way the whole year. You're always paying an artificial inflated price for Kansas City. I think the closer we get to the game, it went to 3.5 and then it came back down to 3. I see it heading 3.5. I think it's going to close at 4, 4.5. If you like Kansas City, you wait now. If you like Tampa Bay, you might as well wait because it's not going to get worse. I don't think it is ever going to be. I think the bookmakers know that if they went to Kansas City minus 2.5, I think they get flooded with Kansas City money. So I don't think they're going to go below 3. So if you like Kansas City, you take them now. If you like Tampa Bay, then you wait.
Yeah, well, they put early in the week, like early Monday, there were a few 2.5s out there that you could get. Yeah,
They got
but I
snapped
don't
up
see it.
pretty quick though, right? Because
Yeah, I don't
I
see
was
it getting
looking
back.
and I was like, I would have taken a 2.5.
Yeah, I don't see it getting back down there. I'm with
I
you. I
don't
don't see it
either.
getting back down there.
Exactly, and I can't believe that it came off from. Now some places still have it 3.5, but some places went down to 3. I'm surprised that it went that way. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can get Kansas City at 3, that's not a bad bet. I was just worried about the 3.5, and then you get the guy out there to kick in a field goal and you lose because you're laying 3.5 or by the half point, whatever you got to do.
Yep. That's always wise thinking. So I know you used to be a big VSiN guy listener. I've been listening to the Sports Grid at all.
I listen to the Sports Grid a lot, and the main reason is because it was the same channel that VSiN was
Right.
on, and
Yeah.
VSiN got taken off satellite. So,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because Scotty Farrell is a big guy
Right.
on the Sports Grid. I know Scotty Farrell from
From
20
years
years
ago.
ago. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. He's got a voice that everybody would
Yeah.
recognize. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember listening to him years and years ago. And go ahead.
Yeah. I used to do late nights. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, and
exactly.
when I worked overnight, when I worked third shift, I'd go on break. I'd go sit in the car and put on Scotty Farrell.
Yeah, oh, I love Scotty Farrell, and I got to tell you, it seems VSiN didn't do well. They had some guys that paid a little bit of attention to hockey. They got some really good hockey guys
Yeah.
on VSiN. I mean, on Sports Grid, really good. If you listen long enough, they have one hockey show. I think it's every night at 11 or 12. It's like an hour long, but it's worth it because they really give you good handicapping angles.
I was listening to one of the football guys yesterday afternoon, and Staley. He went to the Chargers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy went on like a 10-minute diatribe of them Chargers hiring Staley, and they got this young quarterback, and the big thing about the Rams is Goff now is digressing. So if you got this young quarterback, why would you hire the Rams offensive coordinator? And maybe that was the problem with Goff is Staley, and he's going on for like a 10-minute diatribe, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
I
and then, and then at the end of the show, they go, "Oh, anything you want to correct?" He's like, "Well, yeah, Staley was the Rams' defensive coordinator."
Yeah, I spent the last 2 years basically bashing Anthony Lynn because he makes terrible game time decisions. I mean, clock management and end of game decisions and all that. So I spent 2 years bashing him, and now guess what? He's now the Lions' offensive coordinator. I was like, thanks a lot. I mean, where do we go with that?
Yeah, but at least he doesn't have to make any decisions anymore.
Right. Well, exactly. So let's hope that's a good thing. But I was like, I spent 2 years bashing the guy, and now I got to root for him. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Rick. Thanks a lot. A lot of great insight there. And if you're free next week, we'll have you on. We can finalize some Super Bowl picks and prop bets because that's almost the best time. The best thing about the Super Bowl is prop bets.
Exactly.
So, I'll give you a week to do some homework on that, and then we'll come up with some prop picks, and maybe we'll figure out if there's going to be a college basketball season.
All right. Thanks a lot, Professor.
Yep.
Have a good one and good luck this week.
Yep. You too. Take care.
We'll see you.
That was Rick Markel, my inside Detroit information guy. Yeah, he's again, stick around. We got a couple more shows coming up, and if you like betting soccer, AM Plus Money. He went 2-2 last week. I think turned a profit. he'll be on tomorrow night with the picks for the weekend in soccer. So that's always a good listen, and he's very informative and some free money there. All right, that'll do it. I'll see you guys in a little bit when I'm back on with Right Cape and we go over player props. Talk to you soon.